What is up, everybody? Jared here with carbuzz.com, and this week I have been driving the 2022 Ford Maverick. This is an exciting new product for Ford. They honestly can't even keep these in stock right now, and in this video I'm going to give you a full deep dive of the Maverick and drive it and let you know my thoughts. Let's dive in. So the Maverick is a new compact pickup truck. So this sits below the Ranger and below the F-150 in Ford's lineup. It is based on a car platform, so it's very similar to the Ford Bronco Sport and the Ford Escape in terms of drivetrain and platform. We have a little bit of a different front end than you'll find on an F-150 or a Ranger. I think it's very inoffensive. It's attractive, you know, nothing ugly about it. They certainly haven't gone for the same OMG styling as Hyundai has with its Santa Cruz, which you might be a fan of, or you might think they would have maybe gone for something a little bit more exciting. We've got this incredible hot pepper red color. It's almost got like an orange hue to it. I think it looks fantastic on the Maverick, and we have the XLT trim. Now, a lot of you viewers out there are upset when I only drive the most fully loaded versions of these test vehicles. Well, this is not fully loaded, far from it, in fact. You have the XL model, that's the base, you have the XLT, which is the mid-level trim, and then you have the Lariat at the top. So we're driving a pretty middle spec vehicle here. You get steel wheels on the base XL trim, but this XLT is gonna have these nicer gray finish wheels, which I think look extremely attractive. These might actually be some of the better wheels in the Maverick, although the Steelies actually look quite cool. I honestly would buy an XLT and see if somebody with an XL would swap me those Steelies. I think they look really cool. We've got plastic mirrors and door handles here, you know, simple stuff. We do have the door panel button reader here where you can enter in a code to lock and unlock the vehicle. This is an optional extra, but Ford loves doing these and has done for decades. All Mavericks are going to come in this crew cab configuration. There's no regular cab two-door version of the Maverick that you can buy, and each one is going to come with this 4.5-foot bed that Ford says you should be able to fit about 37 bags of 40-pound mulch into. And I just want to show you the rear end. We've got Maverick stamped into the tailgate here. We do have a hybrid badge letting us know that we have the hybrid drivetrain, which is the base drivetrain on the Maverick. The gas EcoBoost engine is actually an optional extra. And we're gonna go ahead and drop the tailgate here. It is not damped, so I'm gonna have to do that a little bit softly. We have a spray-in bed liner. You can also get a drop-in bed liner, and Ford has a ton of accessories that you can buy for this. Tonneau covers, camper tops, etc. Pretty much anything that you can think of for a pickup truck is going to be available here. We also have some storage in here. You get this little box. You can go ahead and open that up, so you get a little bit of storage in there. You don't get a built-in trunk like you do on the Hyundai Santa Cruz, but you do have a wiring here that you can get an additional 12-volt outlet here in the flex bed. Now, Ford calls this the flex bed because it is flexible. You get these little slots over here, and you can put in 2x4s, 2x7s, and you can kind of build things like bike racks, etc., that make this bed a little bit more useful. And they even have like a website. You basically scan this QR code and you can get ideas for what other owners have done with their Mavericks. You can also, if 4.5 feet is not enough for you in terms of bed size, you can buy one of those dividers that swings in and then swings out, so you can get the additional benefit of having the tailgate down. I believe that gets you about 6 feet. Now we can go ahead and check out the rear seat. I just want to mention before we get into that this sliding rear glass is optional. This is going to be just a standard piece of glass unless you opt for that. So here in the back, we can start to see what the XLT trim gets us. Gets us this really premium cloth. I'm a big fan of this. This is actually my favorite interior of all Maverick trims. You get like this sort of gray material here, you get kind of this dark bluish, and you get orange stitching right here. You can get leather on the Lariat and you can get a more basic cloth on the XL, but this is by far my favorite. We have our drop down armrest here, but you also have this. This is called the FITS system. This is called the Ford Integrated Tether System. All it is basically a slot in here. But Ford basically encourages its owners to 3D print their own devices, so you can get like another cup holder, additional storage for grocery bags, things like that in there. And you do have a 12-volt outlet here. So the FIT system is kind of interesting. Unfortunately, they didn't give me any to show you in this video. I can show you the legroom though, by hopping in. So this is my seating position behind myself. You can see that the seat is pretty carved out here to give me additional legroom, which is nice. So it turns what would otherwise be a slightly cramped back seat into a relatively usable one. Although the Hyundai Santa Cruz, this vehicle's closest competitor, does have a larger back seat, I should note. And if you want to use this for storage, you have little pulleys here on either side, so this can be done from either side. So you can go ahead and lift this up. Now you have a little storage. Looks like a previous journalist left us a little rabbit in there. And because we have the hybrid, you can see that is where the car's battery lives, not the hybrid battery. This would be way too small to be that, but the car's regular car battery is actually housed underneath the rear seat. That is not so on the gas engine model. You get a little bit more storage in there. But Ford has been very clever with the storage here. You can see we have speakers here, like on the C-pillars here, in lieu of having them on the doors. Now that is really smart because that gives you more space for big bottles and stuff on the door. Very clever there. You can see there's not like a whole bunch of stuff here. Really, really cool function from Ford. You're gonna see the same thing here up front, where we do have a speaker, but it is a specially designed one to be specifically small so that you have more room here for a bottle. So now I'm going to go ahead and start up the Maverick, which is an interesting affair because it involves one of these, a flip out key. Now, the reason why I say that's an interesting affair is that not a lot of vehicles these days have keys. A lot have switched to push button. You can get a push button on the Maverick, but you have to go all the way up to the Lariat to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on because I want to show you something really interesting here. Just listen. That's it. It's on. It's a hybrid, so obviously the engine doesn't necessarily need to fire up when you first start it. It's going to do it based on electric power alone. So it's really interesting. You turn the key and you don't get that that you normally get when you start a car. Little bit weird, little bit unsettling. You get used to it because you do see the little energy dial here move when you start it up, but it is really weird to get used to the first time that you do turn a key in a hybrid vehicle. So now we can start talking about the interior. The gauges look a little bit different here because we have the hybrid. You see we have like an energy gauge here rather than a tachometer. We've got a small little cluster here with all of our various driving information. You can see it says all electric because we haven't fired up the engine yet. I've been averaging almost 42 mpg out of this vehicle, which is absolutely incredible. You can get a larger screen in here, although I believe it is part of the Lariat trim level. So the XLT is kind of the middle trim level. So we have a good amount of features, but not everything. One thing that is like a weird mix is that every Maverick gets this nice leather armrest here, and you also get nice leather padding here on this armrest. But the steering wheel on this one is this really cheap plastic material like you'd expect to find on a work truck. You can get a leather heated steering wheel as part of a $2,000 XLT luxury package, but I'm a little bit disappointed that it just doesn't have that standard because this is by far the cheapest feeling thing in this cabin, and it's the thing that you touch every single time you drive it, which is a little bit disappointing. And I don't want to say that this cabin is cheap because it's not. You've got lots of hard plastics, but look at how Ford has kind of contoured it to make it look expensive. This almost looks like a stone finish. We've got these really cool orange accents here on the air vents. We have more orange accents down here. We have a ton of storage in here as well. We've got this little pad down here. You can stick your phone up right here. You got storage here. This actually lifts up this little mat so you can dishwash this, which is really great in case it gets all grubby. We've got cup holders down here. We've got a little bit more storage here, a little bit more storage behind there. We obviously have the armrest. We have a little key slot down here with our traction control, hill hold, and drive mode button, which is really nice, because we only have our rotating shifter, which obviously frees up a lot of room down here. And then you have additional storage right here. You can use this little cubby for something, and then there's a little bit more storage above the screen, which measures 8 inches. It's got wired CarPlay and Android Auto on all trim levels. It's an okay screen. I've noticed a little bit of lagginess issues with it. When I try and tune it, I haven't been able to tune the radio stations, which I'm sure is an isolated issue only to this car. But it is nice that even the base Maverick is going to get this 8-inch touchscreen with CarPlay, which is great. We have like a few options on here. We have Equipment Group 300A for $495. We have the Ford Copilot 360 suite for $540. That's going to get you like your blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning, and some stuff like that. It does not get you adaptive cruise control, at least not on this XLT model. I really wish. There are 2 things that I really wish this car had on the XLT trim that would make it really worth it for me. Push button start and adaptive cruise control. You have to go all the way up to the Lariat to get those 2 things, which is a little bit annoying. You also can't get the B&O audio system, but I could kind of live without that. I think that adaptive cruise control and the push button start are a little bit more important. We also have an optional sunroof, nothing special, just a normal sunroof there, but that's pretty much all that we have. I can actually show you exactly how much this vehicle costs. So you see $22,280, and then we have all of those optional packages, bringing the total price to just under $25,000. Now, although you cannot get adaptive cruise control and push button start on the XLT trim, you might want to spend $2,500 on the XLT luxury package. It's going to get you power seats, more outlets, bed rails in the back, a drop-in bed liner rather than a spray-in one, a spare tire, heated seats, remote start, which is quite nice, that leather steering wheel, LED lights in the box, a hitch, a windshield de-icer, and then the Copilot 360 is extra. Honestly, I think that these seats are nice, and I don't really need them to be heated because they are super comfortable with this nice soft cloth on it. But just to get the power seats, you might want to opt for that XLT luxury package. I could maybe live without it. All right, now let's get the Ford Maverick out on the road. And as I've mentioned many times in this video, we're driving the hybrid. So that means we have a 2.5-liter Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder hybrid drivetrain with electric motors. Together, that produces 191 horsepower and 155 pound-feet of torque, going out through what Ford is calling a CVT. It's actually a direct drive. Essentially, it's going to function like a CVT. You floor it, and there's just going to be one gear. It's going to kind of level out. You're not going to really hear it shifting much like you would in a conventional automatic transmission. Now, this is obviously not the most powerful pickup truck you could buy on the market, but the benefit of why you get the hybrid and why I think you should get the hybrid is the fuel economy. This is the most fuel-efficient pickup truck in the world. 42 miles per gallon in the city, 33 on the highway. That number's a little bit lower. I've been able to do better than that. 37 mpg combined. Nothing with a bed can even touch that. I mean, I guess if you consider the all-electric trucks, but I think those are a little bit different. I've been averaging 41.4 mpg, and that's with a lot of stop and go, a lot of shutting the car off, letting it get hot in the floor to heat, and then starting it back up again. So that is not even the ideal fuel economy. I think if you tried hard enough, you could probably squeeze 50 miles per gallon out of this truck, which is amazing. Now, one of the downsides of having this type of fuel economy is you're not really getting all of that much power. What I'm going to do now is come to a complete stop, and I'm gonna show you how quick the hybrid Maverick is. I'm just gonna put my foot on the gas. I would turn off traction control, actually. Why not? Why not? All right, ready? Flooring it. You know what's funny? That didn't feel that slow to me. Like, this thing, you know, it's not a detriment. Like, it's still a lot more power than something like a Prius. And you heard that the engine was a little loud there, but that's because I was foot down on the floor. If you're doing any kind of normal acceleration in this car, the powertrain is so quiet. I love it. Just listen. There's just like a little like grumble. You almost barely even hear it under normal circumstances. I think it's great. Honestly, I think it's a little bit quieter, actually significantly quieter than Toyota's hybrid system, which is a really good system. So bravo Ford for making a pickup truck that sounds this refined under acceleration, because I think even your normal big gasoline powered cars don't sound this quiet, which is really great. And you still get some capability here as well. You're gonna get 2,000 pounds of towing. It's enough to tow like a couple of lawnmowers or something like that if you have like a landscape company, or maybe you're a plumber or something like that. 1,500 pounds of payload there in the bed. If you need more than that, you're going to have to step up to the EcoBoost gas version of this car, which I have driven. The last time I drove it was on the launch event for this car, and I really liked it. It's a good motor. It's a 2-liter EcoBoost turbocharged 4-cylinder, produces 250 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque, so that is significantly more than what you're going to get on this hybrid model. It's significantly quicker as well, and that's mated to an 8-speed automatic, not this CVT direct drive that we have here with the hybrid. It's going to get you up to 4,000 pounds of towing if you get a special 4K towing package, but your fuel economy is going to be hit quite significantly. 23, 30, 26 city highway combined. If you get front wheel drive, you have to spend an additional fee on top of that to get all wheel drive. Your numbers are going to get hit by 1 mpg in each category. And that's great if you need the extra capability or you just want something that's a little gutsier. But with gas prices the way they are, and the EcoBoost is a premium on top of this hybrid model, I'll talk about that a little bit later as we wrap up. I think the hybrid model is the no-brainer. You can't get this car's closest competitor, the Hyundai Santa Cruz, as a hybrid, at least not currently. I've heard rumors that they're going to do a hybrid, but a plug-in one, so it probably won't be as cheap as this Maverick is, and I don't think it's going to get quite as good of fuel economy. So the hybrid is absolutely the selling point for the Maverick. I still love how the Maverick drives. It's very comfortable. It's very smooth out on the highway. This drives more like a small SUV than it does a pickup truck. If that's what you're looking for, you'll really enjoy this. If you like the feel of a big cumbersome pickup truck, you may not like the Maverick quite as much. I think that the Hyundai Santa Cruz is a little bit more fun to drive. So if you are comparing the gasoline Maverick to the gasoline Santa Cruz, especially the turbocharged Santa Cruz, I think that the Santa Cruz actually comes out a little bit ahead on driving dynamics. I love its dual clutch transmission a little bit more than Ford's 8-speed automatic. I like the steering a little bit more, and I think the cabin in the Santa Cruz is a little bit more premium. It can also tow about 1,000 pounds more. So that is pretty much the breakdown between those two. But if you want the best fuel economy, the Maverick is the easy choice for me. All right, so that was the 2022 Ford Maverick. Pricing for the base XL model, if you get the hybrid, starts just under $20,000. So this is an absolute bargain. $19,995 to be exact. Now I know dealer markups are pretty crazy right now, but just so you know, that is the official pricing from Ford before the destination charge. If you want to go for the EcoBoost engine on any of these trim levels, it's going to add $1,085. Honestly, I say save the money and get the hybrid. Now the XL model is a little bit basic for some people. It's going to have steel wheels, manually adjustable mirrors, so you might want to step up to this XLT model, which starts at $22,360. Now, if you want to add the XLT luxury trim, that's another $2,500. This particular car that we've driven is just under $25,000 as optioned, which I still think is a tremendous bargain. Now, you can go for the Lariat trim. That is the most luxurious model for $25,860, but you still have to add some packages to that to get it fully loaded. Now, honestly, I think the Maverick is an amazing little pickup truck so long as you can live with its capacities. The hybrid model is unlike anything else on the market. You cannot get 40 mpg with a bed like this vehicle. So if you're in the market for a pickup truck and you are realistic about your needs, the 2022 Ford Maverick is an excellent buy. We really hope you've enjoyed this review of the 2022 Ford Maverick. For more videos like it, be sure to check out our channel, like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. And if you want to read more about the 2022 Ford Maverick, be sure to check out carbuzz.com. I'll see you next time.